Hello and welcome to the next episode of my devlog of Wisp. Usually I will talk about one ludological topic and then skip to the current state, or I think the other way around. It was quite some time left. I want to do something a little bit different today. I will just show you how I work and will basically work just normally on the game and maybe comment a little bit to explain what I'm doing. The reason is that I don't really have time to just do these videos. They were taking up too much time. That is also the reason why I did not post any updates in the past. So I want to try this and maybe you like it. And if you enjoy it, tell me. So I will do more of those. Yeah. So you also know now the reason why there was such a huge gap. Also, we are right now on Steam Greenlight, so please support us if you want. Link is in the description below, so just go there and click on the link and vote yes. Okay, great. So let's get right into it. So what I want to work on today is basically player movement, the player controls. So if you are not familiar with Wisp, I will maybe show shortly how the controls are like. So usually the game is played with a joypad or gamepad, and as you can see here, you are this guy basically, and you can move by pressing the left stick. Not pressing or moving into a direction. You can move, and then you can dodge by holding the A button down, and then you can aim with the left stick into a direction, and then when you release, you will dash into that direction. So what I want to work on today is the turning of the character, and I will go over why I want to do that and what I feel overall about controls. So okay. So first of all, what are good controls? Basically, that's a tricky question. I heard a lot of times that you should always look at controls as an extension of what the player is thinking, and you want to translate that as quickly as possible into basically the input. So that's true, but that's not all, because like the controls also include, like, if like right here, if I look at my hard character, which we just saw here, maybe I can drag it here. You will see here I'm using a rigid body 2D. So this will get a little bit more technical. I hope this is fine. Like, if not, then this episode is obviously not for you. And all the future ones, if I will do them, because this is how I will work. So you will see code, you will see me working with Unity. So it will be more Unity and coding centric in the future. So anyway, so this is a rigid body 2D. If you don't know what it is, basically I would suggest you look it up. I will quickly go over what's going on here. You can basically set the mass. The linear drag. Linear drag is the drag or the friction, I guess, that you have when moving around. So a higher linear drag will mean that once you started moving, you will stop faster. Yes. An angular drag is the same, just for rotation. And the gravity scale should be quite clear. It's like 1 is the normal gravity and how much you will fall, and you can set values in between. The other ones we don't need to go over right now because it's not really important. So basically in the beginning I decided that I wanted to have my character with a low linear drag because I really like the feel of just free flowing, and that's the thing that I think that people are missing. Because if you would just say that control should always be there to translate directly of what the player wants to do, then basically you should have an infinite linear drag. So basically once you stop moving, you will instantly stop to move. And so that's what people call really tight controls, I guess. Like as soon as you stop moving, you will stop moving. That's fine for certain things, and you can do really cool stuff with that. Like you can have a really cool platformer with that, where you have really hard things that you can do, and it will look better then. Like, one of the good things if you do it like that is that you can do harder obstacles, and it's more obvious for people why it's hard. But I still didn't want to go for that because there are like a lot of platformers that do it like that, and I really like the feeling and the kind of pre-planning that is needed for having a really low linear drag. What that means is that you will just flow around. So that was, for me, like at the very beginning, very clear that I wanted to have that. So I cannot just go there and now increase it to anything. At the beginning, I thought I will just play a little bit around with this value, see how it, what will feel good, and then continue. And I think that's a misstep basically. I don't think that the rigid body is perfect for character controlling, because it's very indirect basically. So if you think about how controls would be done in the past before we had this, they would literally say, oh, once you stop doing the input, stop to move. And this is because it's all based on physical forces. You will continue to move, which is cool in some sense, because like you can do cool interactions and all that stuff. And like if you ram against something, you will not move as fast, and it's like it's very different. But so that's a cool thing. But the problem still is that that might not feel as great for the player. It's like what people describe as really floaty controls. I'm basically wanting to go for floaty controls that still feel good. I guess that's my aim. Which is not easy, and turns out it is really not easy. So, I just played around with these, and I figured that's just how the game is. If it might not be for anyone, but I think that was a wrong assumption. So, what I started to do, I will now go inside the code. Here's the Wisp component. So, what I started to do is like this code is not the best one, but anyway. You will get over it, I guess. I would say just focus on this part here. So what I started to do is, the first thing that I said is that if the angle, I will explain that very quickly after a second, is over a certain amount, I will change the way how I do the input, basically. And so I will draw that now, because I think that's easiest to understand if I draw it. So I should have prepared this better. I want a round thing. 1 second here, and I will do this. So, okay, so let's assume you are this. You are this blob, and you are flying right now in this direction. Okay. Let's do it like this, and let's do it like this. So that's your direction. Yeah, I know. I'm great in drawing arrows on the fly. So that's your direction, and what basically happened is, like, I got feedback from a friend, and I really felt strongly about it, because what I wanted to do before is, like, I didn't really want to do a break, because I didn't feel like it would feel naturally. I really like the fact that if you press backwards, basically like this, that you basically did just break. I really like that. But the problem is that this was really skill intensive, because if you do it like this, let's say, you will not really break, but you will go like a little bit up, and that's not really what you want to do if you just want to break. And also what I didn't like, if I would have put it on another button, that basically this entire area here would not be used, because or very seldom be used, because you would just break a lot. So I really didn't like that. So what a friend of mine suggested, which I think is very good, very brilliant, let's say, put it like this, or a very good idea. I liked it, and I basically implemented it. He said, why not do it like this? If the angle here, basically from, can I do a round thing here? I can just do freeform, right? Like this, yeah, I'm not great at drawing. So, but if the angle here is over a certain amount, or here is over a certain amount, like in this area in between here, you basically will break. And that's exactly what I did here. So now let's go back to the code. You see, I say if the angle is over a certain amount, instead of doing what I usually do, is just adding the new force, which I will calculate over here, in the direction with the force mode impulse, I will say add a fourth of the forwards force that I have right now, just exactly backwards. What that means is now that, let's undo this a little bit. If you're moving and you're inside this area, and you just go back with the button, you don't even have to be really precise, because like 140 is like the, I maybe should have mentioned this. The 140, I get it to this vector angle here, and what you need to know is that it doesn't, it always takes the it will always display the lower number basically. So it will only go up to 180 instead to 360. So it will go up to 180 from here to here basically, like if you imagine the line extended, maybe here, and then also 180 from here to here. So I say 140, which means 80 degrees here. I will be going directly back, basically completely braking. So that is the first thing I did. That was long before that, and it felt good, and I left it, but I still didn't like it as much. So the next thing that I decided is, like, first there was a problem. If you were too slow, if you're going too slow, I will change the behavior, because if you are too slow, first of all, this will not do as much, and then if you stop moving, this will do nothing anymore. And I didn't really want that. I want you to still go back if you go back. So I had to have a like the square magnitude is basically the amount of how fast I'm going. It's almost like if you imagine the velocity as a value, basically the speed at which I'm going. The square magnitude of 80, that was just via testing. I found it out that feels good, and it basically achieves what I want to do. Yes. So what I also wanted to have is I wanted to have basically this control multiplicator. That was the next thing I did. So the idea for me was that like I wanted that the players still feels like he. Okay, how am I saying this correctly? So I wanted if the player moves slowly, that he has a lot of control. And if he moves fast, that he has a lot of control. The problem is that if you move slowly, like let's say you're moving at the speed of 1 in this direction, right? Because we are talking here about forces, if I add basically a force of 10 this up, it feels, or it doesn't feel like it, but you will go up very fast. But the problem is, if you are very fast, like if you're going 20 in this direction with the speed of 20 and you're going 10 up, it doesn't feel like that much, because like you're moving 20, like if let's say 20 per second, 20 whatever, 20 units per second, that's what, 20 millimeter, inches, whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. It's just an example, but basically if you move 20 forwards and 10 up, it's very different to if you move 1 forward and 10 up. Like the degrees are very different, and I wanted to have the exact opposite of what I'm describing, because the natural thing about these physics would be that at the beginning you will have very extreme controls, and at the end you will have almost no control, which means that the higher the speed is, the less control you have, which you actually know if you drive by car. That's very physical accurate. The faster you go, the less control you have. But that's not really what I want to go for. That might be the correct physical thing, but I don't really like it. I wanted to have a very good control at the beginning, and then I also wanted to have a very good control at the end. So what I came up with is this formula basically to help me do that. I will explain it now. It's a little bit funny, but okay. So basically I'm saying, I'm looking at the magnitude, which is once again the speed, and I will say I'm only taking values from 1 to 40. I don't want to have anything more than 40. Everything that is faster than 40 will behave the same as if you would go with the speed of 40. Okay, that's also from testing. And then I will say I divide it by 2 plus 25, and then take it times 2. 100ths. So basically what happens is, if you have a very low speed here, okay, now I need to see, you will basically have one speed here, and then you will have 1/27th, right? Yes, 1/27th times 100. So that's basically just an offset. So let's ignore this one, because that's just to not make it too fast, because at the beginning it was way too much. So we're basically saying, like, at the beginning you will have once again, let's see it, we have 1/27th basically. Why am I doing it? Oh no, it's plus 25. It's, yeah, okay, you have to think it's not 2 plus 25, it's 1/2 plus 25. So it's basically 25.5. So so you would have 25.5 here, and which is basically the multiplicator, like ignoring this now. It's basically the multiplicator I will do it to add to the new force. So that is 25.5. Let's see what happens with 40. You have 40.5, which is basically 20, so you have 45. You have 45. So you see, the higher the speed, the higher this value becomes, which means the more force I will add. And if we now go back to our example, if we said here we're going with 1, we would add basically 25 up here, but if we would go with 40, we would add 45 up here, which is almost double. So that was done to basically counteract the normal physical behavior if you add forces, which made it feel better, but I don't think it's good enough yet. And that's basically what I'm going to fix today, because or what I'm trying to fix today. I don't know if I can fix it, because doing stuff like this is a lot of trial and error. You think about it for some more time. You think about now what I can basically show you what how I can come up with this solution now. So my problem was if you had a very high speed, it didn't really help me if you went up high enough, because the thing is that if you went up high enough, you will not lose speed here because the friction is too low. You know, and that's like by design a little bit, but I don't really want it to have no control over where I'm going. I want, as I said, I want to have floaty controls that still feel good. So what I'm doing now is, what I'm thinking about now is, basically I have, let's put these in again. So these are the braking angles, and what I'm thinking about now is that I will have angles like here where I will basically move normally, because then the way I'm doing it now is fine. But there's a point where it breaks. Basically, if I wanted to go like this, like exactly in the middle, like that's where I wanted to go. Like, okay, maybe I should delete some of these so it gets more clear. So I'm going in this direction, and I wanted to basically get 90 degrees up. That's what I want to do now, 90 degrees up. That is actually not... if you just press up, it will not happen like this. That's the problem. Like, it's not really the problem, but it's that's what I'm trying to get a little bit better going. Because if I would do this, I would still go very fast in this direction, and then slowly get up and basically ram into every wall, which... what that means in turn is that I will just need to press backwards and then upwards, which is fine, but it doesn't feel great. Like, because you have to do 2 steps. It feels like I just want to go up. Like, you don't really think about it in these terms, but that's my theory. Like, we will see if I actually like it once I'm playing it. So what I will do now is I will have... Now I will... okay, maybe I should do it with different colors so it gets more clear. I will do red for brakes. So this is the area where you will brake, basically. I can maybe draw a little bit in here. No, that's actually, you get the idea. Inside here, like maybe one line, like this. This is the brake area. Then I will have what I greens is what is basically the normal physical behavior, which will basically be like this, I think. Like, I'm not sure what the angles will be, but we will figure that out now. Together, basically. Oh, there's actually this curved line, right, that I can do. So if I do this, then I can do... that's nice. That's a lot nicer. I should have done that here as well. Looks better. So basically, this area will basically be the normal controls, like the physical accurate controls, like a little bit cheated with more force, but basically still just adding force. Just adding force in the direction of the stick. Maybe a little bit more than you do, but more or less physical accuracy. It's like, whatever. I'm not going for physical accuracy. But inside here, the last area, which I will do orange, basically, is where I want to have another solution. And the solution for me is that I will basically do a mixture of these two. So what my thinking is right now that in this area I basically will go gradually from what I'm doing here to what I'm doing there. So if we go back, what are we doing here? We will just move backwards, right? Yes. So and the other thing is we will just move into the direction. And so what I will say now, I will just enter it with some values and we will see what happens. As if I will do the condition. If you don't know how to code, these episodes might not be the best for you. I will go over what is actually going on. A little bit explaining. I will not explain the syntax. If you don't know how to code at all, I think it will be hard to follow. Maybe I will go quickly over this, but like basically if means if some condition is fulfilled, which I went over here. And then I can say else if and else, which basically means else if something else, another condition happens, and then else. So, but I will not go over this all the time. It's the first time, so I guess I can do it. Yes. So else if we will say the angle has to be, and now let's go back to our picture. I actually will draw pictures when doing stuff like this for real, because it's more easy for me. But I don't really need to have it look fine. I will just understand, but oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So what should be a good angle here? Like maybe 30 degrees? That might be then 60. 30, and we said 140, so we will lerp between 30 and 140. Okay. Let's try it like this, why not? So the angle has to be above 30 degrees and has to be below 140. Okay? So basically we have now the condition for all the rest. Like this is the one if you press backwards. This is the one if you have no special behavior. Basically all of them are special behavior anyway. But basically what we want to do now is we want to do it like this. This here is just for vibrating the controller. I will just copy it. I will probably go over this later anyway. But for now, this will do. Like basically, this will just let the controller vibrate. Currently only working with the Xbox controller, but I don't know like if I will do other ones. But yeah. So okay. So now basically we did nothing because we just said if this happens, do the exact same thing as this, which we don't want to do. So now we need to figure out, so we have now values, I will write it here, between 30 and 140, right? Okay, so maybe, just maybe, we would say var, oh no, let's do it, int starting angle, starting break angle. Let's call it like this. Starting break angle will be 30. That's what we said. Why I want to have it here, I will go over it quickly, but I want to have it like this because I want to reuse it. The 140, come on, let's do it. But that's actually the starting break angle. Or complete break angle or something like this, maybe. Okay, I will like go over this, and that is 140, and then I will replace all the 140s inside here. So okay, so basically I want to have a little bit more control over this. Maybe, just maybe, oh actually not maybe, but for real, we will do it like this and then do it like this. I will explain this. This is actually a cool thing about Unity. Before anyone goes crazy that I'm doing these public and not doing them private and serialize them and all that stuff, I'm working alone. I don't care. I really don't. I know I actually want to write them big though. I actually don't really care if they are public or not, because I know that I will not change them from outside. Which is what you would do if you would like basically hide them. It is not best practice. If you work in a team, don't do it. Don't really like. Sometimes I even will set them from outside. Like usually you would say, what I would usually do is I would use properties for these, but Unity will not have properties that work with, and now I will show you why I did it like this. Let's let them quickly compile that stuff, and then you will see in the boost thing, which will be in the... I think I have to do it like this. Okay, give it a second. It always takes a second. I can actually drink a little bit of coffee. That's great. Okay, are we finished yet? I think we almost are. Oh, we are. Okay. So ignore all of that for now. That's like, that would go too far for this episode. But here we have the boost, and now you can see here that I can actually change the values from inside the editor. That's why I made them public. I know there's a workaround in, like, not a workaround, like another way to do this is by saying serialize field, but I really don't like, and that's the reason why I don't do it like this. If I have a private variable and there's a number assigned to it, or even no number, and then I don't really understand how the number is set. So I want to have it public so I know that it's set from outside. And as a general rule of thumb, I will usually not change these values. Sometimes I still do because I'm lazy and I don't really care. And the code that I'm doing is like not that big. Like, that's actually one of the biggest classes I have here, which I think is fine. Like you see here, even I didn't even bother to comment all this back or to delete all this. Like, it's fine. Like, we still only have, what, 170 lines. It's one of the bigger classes, so it's okay. My code is not big enough, like the classes are not big enough, because what I will do is I will split up all the actions and everything into single classes. So my classes will be short. Usually the methods will be very short. So I think I'm fine from that perspective, and I'm breaking this on like very knowing. So that was just quickly, so other developers don't go crazy what I'm doing here. Okay, so finally we are through these. So once again, we have the starting break angle and the complete break angle. The complete break angle will say when to break completely, and the starting break angle will say when to start breaking a little bit. So, and these are between 30 and 140. Default may change later, I guess. So that's why I wanted to have these inside variables, so I don't always need to change them at many places and just at one place. And I can now even do it in the inspector, which is nice. Which means I can even change it for different characters differently, which will make them feel differently, which is, I guess, a good thing. Can be a good thing at least. Okay. Anyway, so what do we do now? We know that we want to basically get a percentage from the starting to the end, right? So how to do that? I need to think. How am I doing that? So we will say, oh, that's actually easy. Is it easy? Yes, it is easy, I think. So we will say how am I calling this? Int complete. Is this actually a float, maybe? Are these angles a float? Yeah, so I will do these float as well. Just so to compare them, which is fine. By the way, float will have a margin of error, which I really don't care about here. But okay. Complete, like, I don't know how to name this now. What I basically want to go for is I will now subtract this from that value, so I have the complete number of, like, the complete, like, from how far I will go. So basically I know what 100% is. So I will say complete range, something like that. And I will say complete break angle minus starting break angle. Okay, what it means now is the complete break angle is now, I will comment this always here so it's clearer for you guys. The complete break angle will be now, the complete break angle will, the complete range, I mean, will now be 110 in our example. So what will we do with 110? What we will now do is we will say we have the float, the the angle minus start or something like that. I don't know. That's what I am going to do is like the current relative angle, I guess I call it. It's not a good name. I will explain to you what it is. So basically what I will say is I will say the angle that I have here minus the starting angle. A starting break angle. Yes. So what this does is, like, if we actually starting break angle, yes, that's fine. So at the very beginning we will have a low number. At the end we will have a high number. So basically we will go now from this value will now go from 0 to 110. This is the complete range, which I need because that's what I'm comparing it to, and this is basically the percentage where I'm at right now. So maybe I will say percentage on net, but it's not yet in the percentage. It's like a current. I don't know. I don't have a good name for this. Whatever. Will track the progression of when we reach the complete break, of how far we are away from the complete break. Okay, that's what we have here. Actually, I should do this above all this, right? And this one is actually completely bullshit. We will build this from here. And I will do it like this so it's clear. That's better. Okay. So now I think you guys will be able to follow. At least I hope. Let's continue. So now we have that. What are we doing? Now we want to have a percentage. So we will say, what will we say? We will say now we have the float. I will call it ratio because it's a ratio, which is way cooler for us because we want to have no real percentage. I will go over this ratio, break ratio I will call it. Break ratio. And that will be the current relative angle divided by the complete break angle, the complete range. The complete range. Whatever, yeah. It's like not a good naming scheme here. I don't like it, so we name complete relative angle, I will call it now. So at least it's somewhat consistent here, right? Okay. It's not the best, but whatever. So this means this value will go from 0 to 1, starting in our example with 30 degrees would be 0, and up to 140 would be 1. Okay, so basically now we have exactly what we want. Let's go quickly back to the drawing board again so I can explain it. So what we will have now here is basically we will have, if we are a little bit over this, we will have a value slightly above 1, above 0 I mean, at which point you will, and we will then do something that I will go over, but then basically the value will increase until we are here, at which point it will be 1. Like actually what I could do, is I could maybe even remove all these ifs and elses and just do it like this. I actually didn't think about this, but this might actually be the better way. Anyway, no, not quite, because actually the first if is actually important. But what I could do is, which I actually will do now, because it doesn't make sense. I would actually do it like this and remove all this and all the else ifs. I don't need that. I will still write this above there, so, and I will explain now why, because we will be starting with 0, so because I will have the 0 to 1 be a multiplier of how much we should actually yes, how much we should actually do like this here. I think we will be fine, basically. Because if we add a force of 0, it will actually do nothing. So if we are below here, that's the only thing we need to really take advantage, think about then we say mathf clamp, and we say that's our value, and our min value is 0, and our max value is 1. So what I'm doing here is the clamp value will basically specify what the minimum and the maximum is, and if the thing that is inside here will go over or under these values, it will just return the lowest or highest number. And that's what I want to have here, because I want to have basically a 0 most of if I'm below that, and nothing with whatever, because this will get into minus stuff, and that's not good. I don't want minus. Minus is not what I want. I want to have 0. So, and then we don't need that. And this one, we will just have it here as an example still. So, okay. Now basically, we can now copy this line. We will not set the vibration. I think, at least not. Maybe we will see. We will do this. But instead of doing it like this, I don't want to have the full break thing here. So in the end, I actually will want to. It's interesting. Do I want to have a... it's another value that I maybe want to play around with. So I will say public float. Float is basically a data type. So if you guys know, like, I'm probably assuming that you have a little bit of knowledge here. I will sometimes go over stuff, but float is basically a type where you have what comma? I don't know, comma, like where you can write like this. And int would be only complete numbers with no digits. Like, is it digit? I think it's digit, yes. With no digits, yes. And Unity will mostly use float. So I want to have the force, and I will call it break force multiplier, but multiplier like this. And I want to write it big. And I will say make break force multiplier, just like this, or a little bit different, I don't know. I call it partial break force multiplier, because the normal break force multiplier is actually hard coded right now. I figured it out anyway. And I will say 0.25 for now. But I don't know if that actually will be true forever. It might actually change. Actually, it is minus 0.25, because no, I will do it like this, and I will say there's some nice stuff you can do to help you not mess up. Range from 0 to 1. Basically, what that does is, if you put it like this, there will be no other value in the Unity editor can be entered than a value between 0 and 1, which is exactly what I want to have. And actually, I don't want to have 0, so maybe... No, 0 is fine. If you do 0, basically nothing will happen, which is fine as well. And if you do 1, it will be 100% of whatever I will be doing here. So, but that is 2.5, and I will say here now minus 1 times the whatever, what was the name? The partial break stuff multiplier. Partial break force multiplier. Yes. So I will now partially break. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And I have it here right now. Everything that I wanted. So I guess let's test it. That's basically it. We will have to compile, so I can drink another sip of coffee. I can take another sip of coffee, I guess. The level, I don't know if it's the perfect one, but maybe we will switch it. Okay, so let's go and look at it again. We will basically, once I have finished this, I think I will stop. Oh, look at this. Oh, that feels crappy. What's going on? Something is weird. That should not have happened. That's way too slow. Like, I have very good control now, but it's not really what I wanted to have. What's wrong here? Okay, let's check it one more time. Maybe what we will do is, what I will usually do is like, I will just debug. Come on. That's no. The thing is, there are different ways of finding out what's going on right now here. And what I will do is I will look at partial break force mod. Oh, I actually know what I did. I forgot. I completely forgot. Where is it? What did I do? No. It's completely wrong. Everything I did is completely wrong. Okay. Undo this. Yeah. See, sometimes you're just not really paying good attention. So, yes. From 0 to 1. Okay, but we want to have it here. This entire thing we want to have here, and we want to have here the break ratio as well. Because right now I always was breaking full. That was the problem. Okay. Now maybe I should comment this as well. I will break, or people will hate this that I write I and stuff, but I don't really care. I want to have it for me to understand later, and since I'm only one guy, it's fine. I will break starting from the minimum break. What is it? I actually know what it does. What one do I want to write? I want to test it now. Maybe writing something later. I want to test it. I want to feel how it feels. It's one of the most fun parts about game development. Testing your ideas out. I actually thought about doing a game like this. I don't know if you guys would be interested in something like that, where you can basically really play around with the physics and do all kinds of stuff. That's better. I don't know. It actually doesn't feel that. I don't feel a huge difference, to be honest. There should be. Maybe I do feel a difference. It's actually it feels pretty good. Okay, let's change the character here. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I should have a way to quickly switch it on and off again, because I think it feels good, but I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes if you don't really tested it in another way before, it actually is hard to tell what you want to do, but I actually have a way to switch it off. So what I will do now is, because I actually implemented it already, so I have here the player middle. That is basically the one that I am right now. So what I did here, by the way, is I paused the game, and now I can go inside here, and that's one of the cool things that we can do is, and we said, no, not dash, in the boost here, we said the partial break force multiplier is 0.25, but we want to have 0 now. We don't want to have a break force anymore, not a partial one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it actually feels different. I don't know. That is so weird. I can actually do it like this again. That's basically what I had before. I don't know. It doesn't feel... I guess. Maybe 30% is too much. Okay, let's do it differently. Let's do it starting from 1. Like what people, by the way, to test stuff like this, what we will usually tell you is that you really should test it completely. No, that's not good. You test it with extreme numbers, basically. That's a good thing to do. That's what people say. So I will say it now like this. I don't want to go over the partial break force multiplier because it will feel wrong. I'm a little bit I can actually fix that as well. I should not do that. I think the maximum should still be the 0.25 that I will use in the end as well. So, yeah. Yeah. Like, you can see, I think we can see you can actually move up way faster now, which is basically what I wanted. I think it feels better. It's like hard to tell right now. Maybe because I don't think I have enough. Well, maybe we will do it like this. Yeah, that actually feels better. Now I can actually tell you. That's actually not bad. Okay. Now we will actually have everything reset and we will try it again. And do it like this. Yeah, see? Like what I did before here. You actually have way better control, I think. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's actually not bad. That's not bad. I think that's good. It will be hard to figure out what is the correct thing here, because that's a really close thing, like to say. I don't know about that. Like, it feels better now. That much is for sure. I'm not sure if I like the 30%. What should be what? It's interesting. I might start from the very beginning here. I don't know. It didn't feel bad to me. And like, I don't know what the bad thing is. I don't really want to break though. If I want, I still want to go faster. So I should have at least a little bit there. So as you can see, I'm thinking out loud now, because that's basically what I do. Let's try this in another level. Come on. I don't like this level for testing. I actually have some levels that I really like to test this stuff in. So one level I'd really like to test this in is let's go there in the beginning. Not V2. Oh no, it's V2. Is it the 1.4 level? I think it's the 1.4. It's either 1.4 or 1.6. Like I skipped some levels there. Maybe it's even 1.3. I don't know. We will see. I think it is 1.4. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's a very long level. Yeah, that feels way better actually. That is so nice. Yes. You will see here now. Yes, that's nice. These very quick turns you will actually be able to do quite fast. That was a little bit tight. I think I can even decrease the angle a little bit. I think that would be fine. The only thing that I really don't like about, I will go over this quickly in a second. So, okay. I think what I want to try now is, break again. So, what I don't really like about this, the thing that I did before with the dashing, I will show it quickly again. Not the dashing, the boost, I mean. If I change now the value, if you guys actually have a suggestion for this, it's fine. If I change the value here now, it will actually not be reflected because Unity will now have overwritten it. You just need to keep that in mind. What I will usually do is I will make them private later again. Once I finish playing with them and I don't really want to change them from player to player, I will not make them settable via Unity. So at that point it will just work. I actually should have left them then with small letters anyway. So, but I think, so now let's go back here and think about this one more time. At which angle, like maybe I should have a real angle thing here. Is there, can I actually, is there something here? Here, by the way, green light. You want to see the current status? That should be the current status. I don't think anything changed because almost nothing changes. So if you want to do it, vote. No, it's fine. Yeah. 23, 233 votes. Yeah, I guess like I couldn't have expected that much, not with the what's currently going on Steam. I'm actually quite happy about the percentages here, so I guess that's a good thing. Here you see it. Like if you guys are interested in stuff like that, at the beginning, this is basically all Steam here. This is what happens if Steam shows my game, and this is what happens if I'm doing marketing myself. It's such a joke in comparison. Anyway, that's fine. Like I just don't have to reach that Steam has, but who has, right? I mean, okay. I wanted to have something with angles here, right? So let's see if we can actually get some angle thing, like angle draw, something like that. Angle plot diagram, right? That doesn't sound bad. Yeah, that's actually what I wanted. Okay, so how much is 30% actually? Okay, that's actually, like, if you think about it, that's probably a little bit too much. Let's show me that again. Draw. Yeah, that's a little better. Because what I want, I don't want to break in this area at all. Basically, that's the thing where I say, okay, if you do it like this, you just go forward. Like, I probably should mirror it from the back, but I don't think that's true because I will gradually go up there. I mean, I will also gradually do it in the other way around, but I think back there, like, it really is, like, if you go that far back, it doesn't really matter. You don't really want to do it. Maybe you will. We will see. Like, a little bit more testing will tell us that, but in the front here, I feel like I'm fine if I break a little bit once I go above this point. So I think 15 degrees is a more fair angle here, right? So let's do it here, 15. Oh no, not inside here, not yet. Later we will do it. Okay, so we will say here 15, that's fine. Okay, and test it again. Which means is now, yeah. Yes, I think that's a good way to test it here. I always like that to test the controls because you will see how it feels with fast controls inside here very well. With the slow controls, you actually will have even better controls now with the slow controls as well. Because this is not... Oh, that's really nice. Actually, that feels really good right now. The controls are quite nice. I will change character now. I like it, yes. I think I will do it now 15 degrees and call it a devlog. I guess, not a podcast, a devlog. So I will do this private again. Because I'm fine with that. No, all of these are fine now. So I want to change this, I want to change it to this, and I want to make it small again here. And for now that will do it. I don't know. I will probably play around with these values a little bit more as time goes by. Like the complete break angle might change a little bit again now. Now that I'm actually going gradually up, I can actually see it going a little bit up more. Because I don't really need it. Actually, I will do that and test it quickly. You guys can quickly wait. You have no problems with that, right? You are turned into a podcast and a video cast like this and stick with me through all the time. So you really shouldn't. You should like this stuff. 150, is that fair? Like that's 30 degrees. Let's see how much 30 degrees actually is. Like that's now. I will see now at which point I will actually break. And don't forget, this is the stick. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. This is the angle. You can, like this is basically this angle here. From the middle here, basically. Ignore that it's yellow. To up here. This is the angle I'm looking at now. I want to know at which point I really want to break completely. So 30 degrees is like this. Yeah, I mean, I could even see myself going as far down as 20 degrees. Maybe let's try it with 20 degrees. As I said before, I actually didn't finish that. So wait, 20 degrees left is 160. So because we will subtract from 180, 180 is the maximum we can have. So what people say, I don't know if I said it before, but what people say is you should usually start with huge changes and not small changes so that you can see the actual difference. That's why I did turn it off and turn it back on again and did all that stuff. And I think it feels a little bit better, but I was actually surprised at how natural it still felt. Like it felt like it was never any different. I thought I would feel a huge difference, but I think the controls will now feel way more responsive and I actually think that's a really good thing, like that actually there was a huge difference, but and it feels really smooth. So that's why I'm very confident also now in doing smaller numbers even here. Like this is still a little bit bigger than that, but I think that's fine. It doesn't need to be 100% the same. So we will see. Now let's do a break. That's fine. I can do a break. I can. Now I didn't do a break. See? Let's. Yeah, I think that's a little bit too... No, I don't like it. It was better before. Because I really want to brake. And it's actually really good, because I can... The controller will vibrate as soon as you brake, so I think it's better if we do it a little bit higher up again. Okay. Let's do this once more. Maybe I should just do it like this all the time, because then I don't need to do it public, private and stuff, and it doesn't take that much more time doing it like that. So, let's say 150. Let's do it like this. The real brake feels better. It feels better if you really want to brake. Like, that's... I don't want to be missing the brake, basically. That's a bad thing if you do it. And actually the vibration of the controller will tell you when you brake, which I think is great. Actually, the more I do the vibration stuff, the harder it is for me to imagine people playing without it. And not even all controllers are supporting it, so I don't know how I will fix that. But we will see. So, okay. So we will have that, and now we will brake. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That feels fine, I think. Go down there, brake. Yes, that's good. No, I died. But yeah, it feels good, I think. I think I made the game a little bit tighter today, which is great. I'm playing a little bit around with this right now. But yeah, like I still can do it like this, which is good. Like I don't want to lose the complete thing that I did before, but I want to have like basically not have the need about it as much. And if like what I would do before here is if I go into these corners is basically okay, I will have to draw it again, I guess. Basically is do a correction course basically. So what I would have to do before is if I want to go in from, I will now delete everything because I don't really need any of that stuff. So I don't like it. I don't like it. I will just undo everything. So that's easier. Yes. And I will draw it in black. So we are almost at the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it, but I just want to explain what basically changed now from the way I control the character. For me it's not a huge difference, but I think for the beginning player it will be a huge difference. So if I'm flying into this direction and I want to go up here, what I basically had to do in the past is put the stick into like this direction maybe, or maybe even a little bit more, but something like that, to actually get around the corner. And right now I can just do it up there, and that's what I want. I don't want the people to really feel like they have to do a lot of work to get what they want to do, and that's what we had before with the controls should be an extension of the thought. As I said before, I still want to feel that it's a little bit floaty, but I didn't want to do it too extreme. The only thing that I think is left to do for me now is maybe do a completely different thing once you are slow. Because I think that's still a thing that can actually benefit from something like that. Yeah. Okay, maybe I will quickly test this, and maybe we will do this in the next episode, because why not? We already started doing that stuff, so we could just do it completely. Okay, so we will quickly go into this scene. Which scene we actually testing this? Oh, I know. I will actually go into a very late scene where there are enemies shooting, which is nice. Enemy shooting is good. This one maybe. I think that should be fine. Because there you need a lot of tight control, and I still think that needs some work. So... No. Actually, that's a really old one. That's funny. It isn't even working correctly anymore. That's so cool. It was a long time since I played this. Okay, I didn't want to go there. I'm sorry. That was old. Maybe I will reuse it again. That's actually not a bad design, enemy design. I like it, but I actually changed how the enemies behave. So the world 2 dynamics, that's where I wanted to go, and maybe into this world. I think it was the second to last world where I want to go, or level, not world, which I have right now. So much work left. Okay, yes, that's actually the one. Okay, so yeah, see, I'm still doing like a lot of these very small things. What I would prefer is if I'm going that slow that I can actually have better control over it. Like, it's a little bit lagging right now, so I don't know if you can see it, but it's fine. So, because like right now I basically need to do like a lot of these click, 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 and I don't want to do that. I want the player to feel like they can really control it. And the thing is, like, what a lot of people need to understand is I don't want to dump the game down, but the tighter the controls are, the harder I can make the challenges. And the harder the challenges get, the more clear it is that somebody does something awesome, and the better the player feels about doing it. So I think it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. That's, I think, why usually people will say you need to have extremely tight controls in a platformer. And maybe I should have went for that. But I really wanted to try to break this rule a little bit, like, and like basically say like, oh, what if I just release? I still want to go sometimes. That's fine. Like, why not? Why not have that? And like having like a little bit of thing like where you say, okay, I need to break. You will not break instantly, but see, it's very quick now. You can see it, like it's very quick you break now. In the past, like I would never have been able to break here. And like the turning here is good. Yeah, I think I still need to work on the, like that's the last thing I think I need to work on is the really, really, really slow controls. Yes. So that's basically it. I will check in now and call it a day. But first off, I will say goodbye to you guys. So thanks to listening. If you enjoyed this format, please let me know. It's really important to me because I stopped doing this for a long time and I actually like doing this stuff. But as I said, I don't really have the time, and this, at least I get some work done, and talking about it also helps me to think about it in a different way. But I really cannot, if I want to finish it in time, I cannot stop working. Basically, I really need to work all the time. So I think that might be a good way to do that. Like, it's a good compromise. I don't have to prepare as much because it's just what I want to work on. See, there's stuff. Oh, not here. Not the changelog. Something here. Yeah. That's actually still a thing I'm not sure about. It's a lot of stuff to do. It's actually not on the to-do list, but I still wanted to do it. So, anyway, I will not go bug hunting with you guys. I don't think that's very interesting, but doing stuff like this might be interesting enough. And if you think so, please tell me. So, once again, thanks for listening. Go vote on Greenlight one more time. You stuck through here. Basically, if you stuck through here, you have to vote, right? I mean, isn't that a rule? Like, kind of. I'm giving you free content and you give me a free vote. Like, you spend 5 seconds of your time, maybe a minute. I 1 hour. No, I'm just joking. It still would be great if you could give me a vote, but yeah. So, once again, thanks, and maybe see you soon. I don't know. I don't know how much I will be able to do this, but I enjoyed it a lot. So, bye.